Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Global Biz Apps Weekend 2022, powered by D365 Champs. It's annual event today, and we hope you are doing well and keeping safe. I'm Venkat Subbarao Polsetti, moderating this session along with Nijo Joseph. And this session is presented by Dhruvin Shah. Dhruvin will be taking about UI tips and tricks for Power Apps. And a brief introduction about Dhruvin. Dhruvin was a Microsoft MVP, business application and data platform, and he was a Microsoft certified trainer. And he works more into the Microsoft SharePoint and the Power Platform. He's a Power Platform practice lead and Power BI specialist. He's a blogger and YouTuber and also a trainer. So nowadays he is giving the trainings to empower the more people and also, before I hand over the session to Dhruvin, I would like to mention that if you have any queries, please feel free to drop it in the chat window. We will take them either during the session if possible or during the Q&A time. Thank you again for joining and enjoy session. Dhruvin, over to you.
Yep, thank you so much, Venkat, and it's always pleasure to be a part of Global Visa Weekend. It's my second or third event with D365 Champs, so always be happy to part of this community. So let me share my screen and please confirm if you are able to.
Yes, I can.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So let me just start with today's session agenda, what I'm going to cover. So we have seen our earlier session from May where she explained some beautiful apps with a great user interface. Now, during that session, she also mentioned that, if some components are ready to use and available from the Microsoft community itself, then why not to use directly inside your app and make your app beautiful? So today's session is more focused on user interface, and I'm going to present some of the reusable components which are already available as a part of community package. So we will talk about some different complex components in today's session, and I will show you everything from start to end, so you will get an idea that how exactly you can get started by making beautiful canvas apps using the components. So before we get started, my basic introduction, as Venkat said, like I'm a Power Platform specialist, and mostly I'm working in Power Apps and Power BI and Power Automate. And apart from that, I'm working with Microsoft 365. And I would recommend everyone to follow me on my YouTube and my Instagram account. All the IDs are available here. The Insta ID is Power Platform Guy, and this is a shortcut URL linktree/dhruvin.sha. And once you open it up, it will just open this interface from where you can find all my links, YouTube, website, Instagram, everything you will find from there. So just to use this link, I will paste at the end of the session. So without further delay, let's get started with UI tips with Creator Kit. So I have very limited slides. My slide deck is complete here, and now we will directly move to the Power Apps, and I will explain you what exactly we are going to cover today. So first of all, let me just start with what do we mean by Creator Kit. So a few days back, uh, Microsoft released this a creator kit component package. So creator kit is something which provide you the user experience. Like, let's say for an example, let me just show you some example. Let's say for an example, if you just wanted to build some kind of beautiful labels, or let's say for an example, you just wanted to create this kind of breadcrumbs, or let's say you want to create this type of navigation menu for your application, or let's say you just want to build this kind of left navigation, then they are come up with some sort of beautiful components PCF component that are already built in. So it's just a matter that these components are already available and you just need to plug and play into your application to make it more beautiful. And it also come up with some sort of theme where you can change the different sort of color, you can customize based on your requirement, and there are some sort of different type of configuration properties which are available, which you just need to configure, and those components are ready to use for you. So today's focus is we will talk about the creator kit component in detail, and those who haven't used the creator kit in the past, I will explain you how someone can get started and install the creator kit from scratch. And it's very easy, very simple, and very straightforward. And after that we will build couple of component from scratch, like we will just utilize this component configuring different properties and create some sort of menu bar, some sort of list, and some sort of menu element. So stay tuned throughout the end of the session. So let's get started first to understand the creator kit. So, as I explained you that it provides a different type of ready to use component. So at this moment, Creator Kit components are available for Canvas app and model driven app, and you can use some of the component into your custom pages inside the model driven app. So to get started with this Creator Kit, how can we start with? So first of all, let me just explain you this Creator Kit is something which is developed by a PowerCat team from Microsoft. We have seen most of the video from PowerKit team by educating the different stuff on the Power Platform, and they are the one who has developed this overall toolkit, and they are constantly improving this toolkit. So every time a new updates comes up, make sure that you always update your creator kit. So first of all, let me show you from where you can get started and start installing the toolkit. So this is the link which is provided by the provided in the official Microsoft documentation. I'm pasting in the chat window as well. So over here you just need to follow this documentation, and over here it is provided one of the link, app source offering. So when you click on that, basically it will just redirect you to this type of interface where it will show you the process of installation of creator kit. You can install creator kit via two way. Either they are providing different type of packages on the GitHub managed solution which you can import it and use it in your application, or you can simply use this interface to install that toolkit in your environment. So let's say for an example, we are just using with the very simple and very easy way of doing that. I'm also pasting this link as well in the chat window, so you can directly install it in your environment. So first of all, to start with, when you open this link, basically there is an option, get it now, and you simply need to click on that. So when you do that, it will just showing taking you to the Dynamics 365 to complete your process. So let's wait for a while. So basically it will redirecting you to your Power Platform admin center first. So all the steps are very easy. So you can see that it redirected us to admin center, and it just open up the Dynamics 365 apps here. And from here, you just need to select your environment, in which environment you want to install this creator kit. So let's say I already installed one of the toolkit in my default environment, but let me just install it
काही नाही
to
ते आलाय
one
पुट्टी
of
नेला
my
10
other
ग्राम
environment.
पण पैसेच मोबाईल मध्ये नव्हते
I request
मग
everyone
म्हणलं
to
लाव
be on
पिकअप
mute,
तिकडं
please.
आणि 10 मिनिटांनी परत बाहेर लाव मग
Now what we will do is, like, we just simply need to click on I agree option and start installing this toolkit. And make sure that before you install this toolkit from your admin center level, the component feature is turned on. It's very basic option that you need to turn on, and it is also mentioned in the documentation as well. So we just need to start install button, and it will start installing this creator kit. So you can see that it is showing me the creator kit installation started at 11:10 a.m. by Dhruvin Shah. And once it is installed, it will show up those solution packages to us here. So you can see that it started installing over here. So what we will do is we will not wait for whole installation to complete, because before this session I already installed the packages. So I will show you after installation how it will look like. So once this installation is done, you can see three solution packages over here. So let me just shift myself to my same environment with the default environment where I already installed those packages, and let me show you how it will look like after the installation. So after it installed successfully, you just need to go to your solution section over here, and over here you can see these three packages: creator kit references, creator kit core, and creator kit canvas. So one package is for canvas apps, another package is for model driven app, and this is one of the core component package where couple of components has been developed and some sort of component library is already there. So by default it come up with three solutions over here. So let me just open one of the solution over here, that is canvas app, and all of these solutions come up with a managed solution. So it's just like you need to install and you can just consume those solutions over here. Now, when we go to the app section for the Canvas app, it comes up with the three default app. Now, what are those apps? Let me just explain you. One is canvas template. So what do we mean by that? So it is providing one template for you where it is a blank canvas app template where they have already taken all the components over there, and you can just start downloading this MSF file and start creating your fresh app. So it's a template. Another is reference application. Reference application means this is the demo application which is created by them itself, which just show you that with this creator kit how many different type of components created and what are the different things you can create. So you can see this kind of demo here, like let's say this is the breadcrumb, so breadcrumb example is here. Like let's say we have some expand menu, so expand menu example is here. So basically it explain you here everything that what does it exactly do, and it is on the top, it is showing you the name of the component, what it exactly does, and how this component will look like. It is showing its preview over here. And if you go to the code section over here, you can just see the different properties which are configured for that particular component. So here you can see code as well, and in the app you can just see the preview of the app. So this is the reference app which is provided. And now one more is Fluent Theme Designer. So it is like it is providing you this kind of interface. Let's say for an example, you are not happy with the out of the box colors which come up with. So you can just simply change the colors. Like I'm just changing everything from my color picker, and you can see that the colors are being changing over here. Like let's say I'm just having it pink, and let's say I just need some text color like this. So it is changing this color. And when you just use export theme, it will provide you whole bunch of code here, which is something we just need to use inside our application to make it similar like this. So it provide you this kind of theme app which makes your life more easy. Now, how to utilize that application into our actual Canvas app? Now we will talk about that. But this is the overall idea. It come up with the three different app inside the solution. And if we same way, if we just open the model driven app package, it is showing you this kind of thing. And over here, there is one app here. So over here as well, it is providing you the model driven reference app. So it will just open up all the component which are available for the model driven application. It will show all of those things to us over here. So let it to be open, and over here you can see that the different kind of navigation applied over here, and you can see these are something which are available for model driven as well, different type of command bar, breadcrumb, and all of those stuffs. Similar like canvas app, we have the dedicated component for model driven apps as well. Now, what we will do is we have seen that we install the package, and after installing the package, we get three solution, and in each every solution, there are some sample apps as well, which is provided. Now, let's see how we can simply utilize those things into our canvas app. So let's see how it will look like. So what I'm doing now is I'm just creating one blank canvas app and start doing those stuff from scratch. So let's get started. So let me just go here and let me just create one blank canvas app from scratch. So what I'm doing here is at this moment, let me just open up web.powerapps.com and go to app, new app and canvas app. Let's create a fresh app for D365 champs. Create, and it will just create a blank canvas app for us. Now, the next task is we need to add the component inside the app. Now, let me tell you one thing here. With this creator kit, we are getting two type of component. Some of them are the canvas component and some of them are PCF component. The installation process, let's say for an example, if you want to use some of the component in your app, then the process is very simple and straightforward. So this is the blank canvas that we created, and now we just need to go to the insert menu here, and at the very bottom you can see an option get more component. When you click on that, you can see two options here, canvas component and code component. This toolkit is come up with both the packages. So if I go to the canvas, and over here there is a component library called PowerCat component library, and you can see here they are come up with the different type of component like dialog, header, search box, custom icon, panel, expand menu, right? This type of different components are available. Same way, if you go to the code component, you can see that the ownership of the different component here, like over here, we can see these are all component published by PowerCat, and we can see different Fluent UI components over here. Based on our need, we just need to consume those component inside our application. That is the first step. So let's say for an example, in our demo, first what we will do is we will just create one menu bar. So what we will do is we'll just use that component and we'll check how we can configure those properties. But before that, as a part of prerequisite, what are the things you need to consider in your mind? Let me just explain you. Always, to start with any component, always use this reference app. So let's say for an example, I want to create this expand menu. So I know what is the name of my component, which is expand menu. And here one of the sample is also provided. So you will get to know that this kind of thing you can build up over here, and you can see some sort of code reference as well over here. And similar way, at the same time, what I encourage everyone to just open up this creator kit documentation, and over here they have provided a very good documentation how to use every component. So let's say for an example, I just want to utilize one of my component, which is expand menu component. I will just click on that and it will just open up that documentation for me, where I can see that what are the different properties and how we can get started by configuring it. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to consider in mind. Now let's get started with the first component creation process, which is our expand menu. So what I will do is first I will install that component. So as I told you, we will just click on get more component, and over here we will just search for expand menu. So uh, over here in PowerCat component library, we have the expand menu. So let's import that component from scratch inside our app. So I just added that component on the screen, and that is something which is added under the library component because this was the canvas component. And now to utilize that component, let's drag and drop that component on our page, and that component will look like this. And when you play that, you can see this kind of uh, thing is being happening over here. So it come up with some of the native inbuilt code itself. So what happened here is based on our requirement, we just need to change our stuff based on our need. So now what we will do is we will just customize this menu. So over here, whenever we use any component, we can see all the important properties that we need to configure for the component is on the right hand side. So the first element is we need to provide the item. In item, we just need to provide like what are the different things you need inside your menu bar. So by default, it come up with this kind of code like Power Apps, Power BI logo, Power Automate logo, and Dataverse. But let's say if you need some sort of more options over here, so you can just use the you can just customize based on our need. So let me show you how we can do that now. So let's say for an example, let me just show you one of my app where I created this kind of navigation. So where I need something like home, new option, contact us, and new idea, something like this. So how we can configure similar like this thing? So for that, we just need to change the properties. So let's say if I'm formatting this text, you can see here, we just need to provide icon, label, where I want to redirect myself when I click on that thing. And if you just want to have tooltip, you can just configure that tooltip. And you can just repeat those rows over here. Like I need home, add location, and this last option, which is new ideas. So what I will do is I'll just copy this code and I'm just going here, and now I will change this thing. So I will just go to the item property and just replace this code with the new stuff that I'm looking for here. So you can see that now this component is looking like this. I just changed the different values over here. Now we configure the item property, but for every component, we just need to make ourselves aware about what are the other things we can do here. So let's say for an example, we configured item. Now let's say if you just want to enable the navigation for your component, there is a property is navigation enabled. You can just make it true or false, which means that when you click on that, it just navigate yourself to the another page or the property that you configured. If you just want to allow that, you can just have this is navigation enabled as true, else false. Then theme. So this is the thing I was explaining at the very beginning, that it is providing us theme editor as well. So by default, it just pick up this kind of natural theme color, which is come up with the out of the box manner. But let's say if you need some sort of other coloring over here, then you can just go to your theme application. So let me just go open up that theme application. So let's say this is the theme we created earlier, and now I want to utilize this type of colors. So I can just go to the export theme. I can copy this whole bunch of code from here, and I can just go to my creator kit here and go to the theme section, and over here I can just remove this whole code and paste that theme color, and I can just format my text so it will look like this. And what happened here is you can see that the theme color is being changed now. So this is the very easy way even to format your element. So let's say in future there is some need that you just need to change your theme, just change this property, it change whole stuff for you. So it's very easy. Then there are some other properties like default expand value. So currently by default it is false, which means that when we created this component for the very first time, it was always like this. It was never expanded with the menu name. So let's say if you just want like default expand value should be true, you can just turn it on and it always show by default as a expanded value. And when you click on that, it will just change it based on your need. Now, the question arises in our mind that let's say for an example, uh, I have a requirement that when I click on home menu, I want to perform some sort of action, or when I click on new option, I want to perform some action. So at that time, we need to configure the different type of events as well for the component. So similar like out of the box component, we just simply need to go here and we just need to go to the action like on button select, or there is one more action that on expand select what should be happen. So what we will use here is we'll just use on button select, and over here we will write a code that when home button is clicked, what should happen, when click happen, what should happen. So let's write that code. So let's say for an example, first of all, let me take one label on this component, and first of all let me just explain myself that how do I know that which element of this component is being clicked. So let's say if I want to know that, what I will do is I will just copy the id of this component. I will print that thing in the label like this is my component dot, let's say I just need what is the value which is selected item dot which thing we need, like label, what label is selected, I just need that, so it is showing me that. So now when I'm playing the application, when I'm clicking on new, we can see that this action is clicked. Now based on this value, we can just write up our action. So let's say on button select, I will just write one switch expression, switch, and inside that, let's just take this thing, what is being clicked. I should know that. Then let's say for an example, if it is home, I just want to perform some sort of things over here. So what we will do is, let me just zoom in a little bit, and here, let's say I just want to print some sort of notify code. So I will just write notify, and I will just write here like home clicked. Just finish the bracket. I'm just taking one condition at this moment. Similar way, you can just expand whatever you need, like second option as new. When it is new, what should be happen? You can just write the code over here, like notify, and inside that new clicked. Simply you need to use new click, and that's it. And then it's time to test. So let's just go here and see. When I click on home, it is just notifying me home clicked, new clicked. So we can perform all the action that we want to do on our navigation. We can just utilize this and perform it. So easy and very useful. Like earlier for navigation component, it's ready to use navigation component. Just plug and play, configure the value, and do whatever you want. And always, like for any component, like even with the native power apps component, whenever we are using, we always check Microsoft documentation for the different properties. And sometimes this creator kit component, if there are some bugs, you can always report those bugs. So PowerKit team is trying to figure out those bugs as well. And you can just utilize this thing for your application. So how beautiful it looks like, and you even don't require any sort of coding knowledge in order to uh, build this type of beautiful application for your project. So highly recommend to use the creator kit. Second thing, like let's say we added this component. Now let's say I just want to configure one a breadcrumb component, which is also one of the most common component. Like whenever you have a very complex application, and when you have the different kind of page hierarchy, like home, and after home you have some add page, inside the add page you have some sort of other navigation. So obviously you need to provide some sort of breadcrumb like websites on your application, so user can navigate easily inside your app. So for that, we will use one of the breadcrumb component. So for time saving, now what I will do is for majority main component, I already configured some property. I will directly explain you, but this is the overall idea that any component you need to use the similar process. First step is always go to more component and search for your component, and go to the code component and install the component first inside your application, and then start configuring the property that you need, and follow the Microsoft documentation as well as the reference app, and it will do everything for you. Now to explain you what are the different features provided by creator kit, now I will open the reference app, and let me just go one by one what type of different components are available at this moment, and then we will configure one of the component, like some sort of breadcrumb component, and after that we will configure one of the beautiful grid for our canvas app. So let me just go here, and this is the reference app. So a reference app always start with some sort of basic input. So basically they categorized the component based on this part, like basic inputs like auto width label, which is self-explanatory. Icons mean these are different fluent UI icon which I provided over here. So let's say if you just want to utilize this icon, then just use this component, and in icon just provide this name, and it will just load that icon for you inside your application. And many icons are here, and if you just want to search the specific name for any icon, you can just search over here, and it will just provide some sort of suggestions to you over here. Also, like it also demonstrates some of the visual property, like let's say for any of the icon, if you just want to show a fill like this, how you can do that. And when you do that, it will show you the code as well, like what are the things that has been configured over here. Same way, like resizable text area. So this is the text area, and let's say if I'm just pasting this stuff over here and here, you can see that this text area is expandable, and it is looking like this. It is just taking the space based on the stuff I need. So it's a one of the beautiful component. Then breadcrumb component, which we will see in a few minutes. This kind of breadcrumb command bar component, as I started with the very beginning, this type of command bars for the different actions, you can just do it. Then expand menu, which we already created. Then context menu. So let's say sometimes you need this kind of menu, like a save button, and on let's say some sort of actions are there, like new, rename, edit, like right click type of functionality you want to implement. Or let's say when someone clicks on that, you just want to open the context menu defining the different action, you can just use this option. Then navigation menu. So we have seen the left navigation, but let's say if you need this kind of collapse expand navigation, it provide you this navigation as well. Then pivot. So over here we can see that this kind of tabular layout is provided, and which pivot is selected you can see here. And so some many times we have a requirement in our application where we want to design some sort of tabular layout and different kind of steps in our form. So on top of that, you can just utilize this default beautiful fluent UI pivot bar. Then there are different items and list component, which is like um, over here you can see that this is a face file. So let's say if you have some sort of people picker component, and you just wanted to show like initial names inside this kind of face file, similar like in Microsoft Teams, you can just utilize this component. Then detail list, this is very interesting one. So let's say we know that with gallery we can create beautiful grids, but let's say you need some sort of very attractive grid like this. You can just utilize this details view, which I will demonstrate in few minutes, that how to configure it. So you can see this is supporting a very neat and clean interface. Also it is providing you the capability to adding different kind of status over here like this. It also support different kind of status cell types, like if it is link, it is showing you the link as well like this. You can do this kind of tag, this kind of indicator, different kind of hashtags you can add here. Also if you just wanted to have like collapse expand thing into your grid, it come up with the native functionality itself. Like currently with the traditional way we are using parent and child gallery control, so instead of that you can just utilize this kind of stuff for yourself and create this kind of grid. Then this type of layout is also available, like let's say this is my parent row, and inside that we have some sort of child row. We can just showcase something like this. So it is providing that thing as well. Apart from that, it is coming up with paging, and you can see here it is showing you 10 records, and when we select the next, it will show me the another 10 records. So this kind of paging is also come up with the native way. So it's a very power pack grid which is provided as a native component. main thing is you just need to understand how to configure those elements in detail. Obviously with this 1 hour session, I cannot cover every single property, but I started building up the whole bunch of separate playlist for creator kit configuration, and I already published around 2 to 3 videos. So you can always visit my YouTube for exciting content like this. But definitely today we will see couple of them, like how we can get started with this kind of details list. Then we have this kind of tag speaker. So let's say for an example, if you are just writing some sort of tags, so it is showing you the tags like this. Like let's say I'm just searching for Power BI. So how these tags are looking like, and if it already has some of the suggestion, it will show you suggestions and you can just add those things over here. And whatever the text that you added, it is just showing the text over here. Then tag list component, which is like different type of tags, like a rounded tag if you just want to convert it, some sort of icons you want to add it, you can just use like this. And this is really helpful when we have some sort of gallery control and you just want to provide some like on public facing website, we have seen this kind of functionality. Like on the right hand side they are showing the different tags for the filtering, like what is the brand name of your product, or let's say if you just want to select some of the tags related the hardware configuration, software configuration, based on that your grid is being filtered. So at that time you can use this kind of icon for the tags. Then spinner, so you can see this kind of spinner, loading spinner. Here you can change the size of your spinner based on your need, you can change the position and just use that component. So this is provided. Then progress indicator, like when you have stepwise form and you just want to show like uh, what's the progress of the form filling process, like depending on some sort of calculation you just wanted to show one sort of line over here, you can just utilize this component, which is progress indicator. Then different kind of surface component, like let's say you just want to open this kind of left panel. This is one of the most common requirements sometimes, like for approval process or some sort of detailing, we are having this kind of functionality in the canvas app. Like when we click something, it open all the information with the pre-populated stuff and it will just show us the things. And here cancel and OK button. Same way for dialogue, like this kind of fluent UI dialogue, which is really impressive, like similar like other office product, we have a very good interface for that. So this kind of dialogue component is also provided. So it's just a matter that whenever you need anything, you can always use this reference app as your main reference thing. You can check everything and just check, like this is something which will fit into my requirement, so let's just use this component and configure that into our app. Okay, so this is the thing you simply need to do. Now let's just configure one of the component, like over here I was about to show you like how to configure the uh, breadcrumb component, and we will also see how to configure the grade component for our application. So let's just start with the simple breadcrumb thing. So over here, let's say whenever as I speak you, always the first step is to get more component and get your component first. So let's say I'm having this breadcrumb component over here. So I'm just adding this breadcrumb component. So by default, it is showing you some sort of default data, and you always need to open the property pen for it. And let's say I just want to configure here, like what are the different level I want to show as a part of my breadcrumb. So I just simply need to go here and need to define like what would be the first item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item. You can create up to whatever ants level you want here, and it will automatically adjust the space depending on the breadcrumbs that you provided. So it also provides some sort of configuration property, like let's say we configured this breadcrumb like this, but let's say if I'm decreasing the size, you can see that it overflowed some of the stuff at the first position, and when we click on that it will looking like this. So this is the native behavior of it. Now let's say I want a feature that when it shrink its size, I don't need like always at the first position it just overflow. It just overflow at second or third position. So we have those configuration option as well, that overflow index. So let's say if whenever I'm selecting overflow index as 2, then what happen here is, let's say whenever I'm changing the positioning of my breadcrumb, I'm just having that, I'm just decreasing the size. So you can see that now this overflow occurred at the second position. Same way, here is a property like maximum how many item you want to display. So if I select only two, then what happen here is it will only show two items by default, and it shows similar like overflow like this and just display the thing. So based on your need, you can just configure the different properties over here and it just makes your life easier. So this is the breadcrumb component. And let's say similar like this, when I click on the specific element, like let's say over here I just want, I'm clicking on general. So it is just redirecting me to the whatever code I have written over there. So for that as well, we just need to do some sort of configuration. So let me just show you how to do that. So for every component, we have some sort of actions like in native component what we have. Let's say on button I want to write some click, so I'm having on select event. Similar like this, here we have some sort of event like on select what should happen or on change what should happen. So we just need to configure those things. So let's say this is my breadcrumb component. I'm just giving here on select, and over here I have written the code like what is my selected breadcrumb component. So I'm just writing my component id dot selected dot what is the display name. If it is general, just redirect myself to the first page. So whenever I'm clicking here from the general, it just redirecting me over here onto this page. That's something which is happening. So this is how you can configure the rest of the other field for your navigation. It will just move yourself from here to there very easily. Now, let me talk about one more interesting component, which is the context menu component. So let's say sometimes you want to implement this kind of feature, like with save, you want to provide like this type of feature, like user can delete some stuff, or maybe if they want to update something, you don't want to create multiple buttons for that. You are just creating one simple button and different context action should be happen for that. So for that, what we will do is we'll just use one of the component, which is the context menu component. So let's add that component. So when we add that component, by default it is looking like this. Let's make it nicer. So over here when we go to the items, it come up with some sort of native code. So let's select that and expand that. By default it only has item 1, 2 and 3. So first we need to configure that property over here into the item section. So over here I just added something like this, like first is my item key. So I just wanted to have my context menu name as please select, and then let's say I need some sort of file option, delete option, refresh option. I just added those different options over here. And also uh, whenever we are configuring any component, as I told you, like let's say I need the context menu property. I'm going here, and don't confuse yourself. All the properties that we can configure, we can, they have provided a beautiful documentation. So let's say I need like some of the context action, I just wanted to make it disable. So for that they have a property item enabled or disabled. Let's say if you just wanted to hide something, there is a property item visible. Then let's say if something is checked, you just want to perform something, so item check property is there. Similar way, like header property. Then let's say if you just want some sort of divider in between your component, let's say for an example, in our case we have the options like this, save, delete and refresh. But like I need something like this, I need some sort of line like this, I need to add divider in between them. So those kind of configuration options are always here and into your documentation, and it clearly explained that which property does which thing. So let's just do something like this. So I'm just going here, I just configure this thing. So let's say this is the display name. I just want to have this property enabled. I need this as a header. I need the divider as well. overflow as well. It's true. Overflow means like when the shrink size, what should happen? Like it automatically adjusts its space. And same way for other property, I just have the similar property. So I just configured everything. And same thing, like let's say I need what thing is selected from here. So I added one label to check. Like this is my context menu ID, context menu 2 dot selected dot item key. What is being selected? And based on that, you can just print it anything here, or here as well you can just write on select event of it, like what you want to do when something is clicked, like well file is clicked, delete is clicked, what should be happen. Like you need to delete that thing, so you can just write your patch function here, or update some record, use patch or delete remove function. Just use any power fx expression here, and it will just perform based on your need. So that's how this context menu, which is also very interesting. Then we will just go with this details view, means grid component. So let's say for an example, as always, we will start with adding the details view component. So fluent details view, this is the component which is provided. So we can just add this component on our page. It will looking like this. The very first step is always configure, always pass the data inside it. So let's say I have data was table in place. So account table thing I want to print here. So from here, let's just provide our data source. So I added my account table. And when I did that, I need to configure the different field for that. So over here, I can select the different field from my table. So it just show me that option. And let's say now we need to configure the column, which column we want to have here. So the way to pass the column is different here. So let's say for an example, I need name property, telephone property, and primary property, primary contact into my grid. Then what I'll do is I just need to create this kind of interface for myself. So this is called as column schema. So let me just paste it first and let me explain you how exactly it works. So, so first you need to provide like which column you want to show. So column name is the property which is configured for that. Like you always need to provide some sort of define column name that is a part of your dataverse, and then display name. In display, what want you need what you want as a part of name, column width, then you want that column sortable or not. So when you see, when we configure it, default sort icon is provided, and when you do the thing, it will automatically perform that sort operation for you. You don't need to write any sort of code for that. So you just can make that column sortable, or you want to make it bold, there is a bold property. Resizable means adjust the size automatically. Yeah, I need all of this. Similar way, I just configured other property like address city, then a country name, then telephone, then primary contact id. And also it supports the different type of columns as well. So let's say for an example, I have a requirement that, I don't want to show everything in a straight column like this. I just wanted to show first, like, my name, and address is something I want to show below my name, and address one of country I just want to show just after my city. So I need something like this. First row, then second two values are appearing over here. Then there is a property here, like when you are configuring the thing for yourself, you just need to provide like column show as sub index of. So here you need to provide like where you want to show your thing. So below name, I want to show my address. So here I will just provide that this is something which is showing as a subset of my name. So below name, we are just printing this address city, and same way below that we are just having our country value. So it will show this two value instead of column, it will just show just below that particular column. And otherwise, like telephone, I just want to have like telephone, and let's say I want to show telephone as a link. So, or maybe if you have some sort of url and if you want to show as a link, so there is a column type cell which is provided as a link. So it supports the different type of data type like image type, link type. I will show a couple of more samples you here so you can get more relate to it. So it supports everything like this natively, and I just provided my another key and it just showing me this kind of grid for myself. Now, second type of use case, like, I don't need something like this, but I need like collapse expand functionality. Like whenever I click on any of my element, it just show collapse expand thing based on the configuration that I did. So it also support that thing. So let's say for this one, I have some sort of collection. So over here, same way, I provided this type of collection in which I have city, country, description. Then I have one property called expand, and I have ID column, and this is my name column. And expand, I just provided a functionality like I just want to make that row expandable as true or not, because sometimes what we have in real projects, like we don't want we have some sort of access based permission, like if specific users open, we just wanted to show the detailing about the data over there. So depending on your need, you can just make it expandable or not based on the things that you want to configure. And over here, the main thing here is you just need to go to your column section for the configuration. Like I just want to show my name, city, country, and here I just need to provide here like uh, is it something which I want to make it expandable or not? And same way other things like where I want to show the exact column value. Based on that, I can set up the stuff for myself. And here, the last column is expand column. So this arrow column I need to add inside my column. So I get to know that when I click on that, I want to expand my stuff. So here I just created a column expand, which is not a part of my data source, but I just created that column. And over here, call cell type is equal to expand. So wherever for every row, if I can see like its cell type is expand, which means different type of actions is being performed based on this parameter. So sometimes call cell type is link, as we seen in our previous demo. So different type of thing we can configure over here. So based on this thing, I get to know that when I click on that, what should happen. So over here, we need to configure one more property as well, that what should be happen when we click on the expand option. So let's see which
Dhruvin,
property.
just we have 8 more minutes for the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
section.
yeah, absolutely. It will be cover up during that time. So same way, like let me just go to the details view over here, and let's say I just need this kind of collapse expand, then I just need to see here that which property do I need to configure, on change property. So I can just go to my application and go from here with the on change, and I just write a some line of code like when the event column is expand and event name is selection, what I want to do is I'm just having that data source and providing the expand property, that it just take that action and just expand that row for us. So this kind of default code you need to provide it. And let's say one more type of example here is like if you want to have this kind of interface for your details view, when you are adding your items, you need to configure a couple of property called tag color and tag border color, and cell type is equal to tag. So it knows that when you're providing the data to it, that they need to show this as a tag, and what color and what thing they need to provide here, it just take it from there. So every time when you do the thing, when you configure a couple of things, like over here, when I'm providing the data, with that data I'm providing what is the tag color, what is the tag border color, and in the columns I need to just provide that this is my tag type. And in tag as well, there are different types, like tag is looking like this and indicator is looking like the second column. So this kind of thing as well you can do. Sometimes you have image columns, So you can see here I configured the column items as what is my cell type. It is image type. What should be width, height, how I want to show it. I can just utilize this kind of different properties from the documentation and just configure my column, and it just behave like whatever I need. And it is providing this kind of clickable thing as well. Whenever I'm clicking it, I'm just having this type of notification in place. Or sometimes we want to redirect ourselves to the next page for the form, we can just utilize this type of property for our grid, and we can just achieve our requirement. So there is more and more things into this whole creator kit. I will not go into every detail because it's whole bunch of very large documentation for every component. And whenever I'm creating a separate video, it's like 15-20 minutes for one component. So always I would recommend to go there and just watch those videos, which will be releasing in a couple of weeks. So meantime, you can also go to the Microsoft documentation and try to explore and try to understand the properties, what it does, and based on that, just configure your component. So almost like I'm all done. I just wanted to showcase one last thing, like panel component as well. As I shown you at very beginning, we can configure panel, dialog. These are most common component which is available. So just utilize based on your need and just configure it in your application, and that makes your user interface and user experience better in terms of fluent UI component. I will wrap up my session here, and will go with some sort of question and answer from the chat window. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for listening me. And if you just wanted to know more about it, I will share the playlist link as well in the chat window in few minutes, which will having the entire creator kit playlist where you can explore all of those components in detail. And always connect me on any of my social media handles for any of the questions or confusions you have. Yeah, that's it.
Right, Dhruvin, that was an excellent session. And yes, the Power Platform, the Creator Kit is making an impact in the development by reusing the components, everything and all. Right. And also, similar to the Canvas app, Power Kit, we do have for the modern apps as well, right?
Exactly,
Maybe
exactly.
just so guys, just the people who have joined here, right? Dhruvin has his separate kind of series of videos. He's doing it on the this particular kit, the Power Platform Creator Kit and all. And the PowerCat team was doing it. And make sure the one of the thing is, please do keep on updating because the components keep on adding whenever you are trying to use it. Okay, so the it's time for to take an together mode. So just 1 minute. Just I'll take one picture.
Can everyone please switch on the camera if possible? It will be great to have a click Kodak moment for everyone. A humble request, if possible for everyone. So we can start the timer, Venkat.
Yes. So 3, 2, and 1. Ta-da. Yes. Thank you. You can switch off your cameras. Thank you, Dhruvin, for taking this time to take this particular session on your busy session. I know you are speaking and you have a lot of things to manage and to empower the people. And yes, for sure, we'll be again meeting you in an annual event for the next year. So thanks for you. So let me stop the recording.